Alright, we're not going to wait for the 5-minute loading bar today. That's not what we're going to do, especially since this is our very first YouTube live stream. You have to forgive the audio quality, or the video quality. It is something that I did try to fix with the Adventure camera, and that is one of the things that we're going to talk about right now, because I was going to film at least a little bit of a video before I send this thing back to Amazon. Penny's having trouble finding a comfortable spot to sit. She wanted to be in here with me while I'm filming. This is one of the troubles with trying to film anywhere in the house, is I either have my son or the dog, or this is my daughter, who doesn't live with us full time. It's her room, so I just kind of found a spot. I was like, it's far enough away, let me film in here. So, but anyways, I ordered a handful of products, actually, about midweek or whatever, and one of the main components was a better camera. It's actually right here. Of course, it's caught up in this. So, this is the Panasonic Lumix FZ80, which, you know, as far as like a picture camera goes, it's actually, you know, it's all in one. It doesn't have a removable lens, so it does mean it has a smaller sensor. Penny, you gotta quit looking at me. Anyways, it has a smaller sensor, which is fine because it still has this ridiculous 60x zoom lens on here. Hold on a second, you guys. Come on, man. This is why I didn't want you in here. There you go. Alright. She gets bored real easily. She's a German Shepherd, so you have to kind of keep her entertained, or she loses interest really fast unless she's just trying to sit and lounge. Anyways, this camera, you know, on paper and everything, which I can actually switch over here to my laptop screen real quick. So, right here, I mean, it lists HDMI as a feature of the camera, but obviously, you know, in the marketing material, they're not going to tell you, oh, by the way, you know, that's only, that's only to view the files after the fact. You know, I really wish a lot more companies would list this kind of information. You know, there are some places out there, especially there's like a whole website dedicated to Canon cameras, like some third party, like some guy or gal made a list of all the Canon cameras that actually output an HDMI signal. But, you know, like, besides the HDMI, look right above that right here. It says Wi-Fi connectivity. Okay, you figure to view the image? No, it's just to connect to a smartphone app, which you can view the image live on your smartphone. But God forbid that you do that on your computer or any machine that can run OBS. You know what I mean? Like, no, you got to spring for the G7, or you basically have to buy a $500 camera to get a clean HDMI out, or to use it. Like, I don't know. I guess I can really identify with these streamers that have to find a decent camera setup, because man, this that's like it has Wi-Fi, but you can't do anything besides move files. You can connect to a TV over Wi-Fi even and broadcast the screen, but then again, you said only for playback, only after you've recorded it. So like that means you have to count on the camera itself to record, and in some of the situations where I'm going to be recording, you know, the GoPro overheats. This camera, I'm sure, is going to overheat. I'm in a hot garage shooting, so I need the HDMI out, which I now have on the GoPro, which is how we're all viewing this right now. The GoPro is essentially what you're viewing the image from the GoPro. Now you'll see some banding and tearing in the image, and that's pretty much because I have it connected to a cheap little $20 HDMI adapter thing that I bought at Walmart. So we'll actually be upgrading that here to this EVGA XR1 Pro. So this one will actually do the full 4K signal from the GoPro, which is nice. It's a little bit nicer of a device, so this will give us better quality and stuff for streams going into the future. I wanted to kind of do this in a live stream format just because it's easier to get my just honest opinion. I want to make a video about some of this stuff, but it's like at the end of the day, if it's not a good product, like as much as I would want to make people aware about it, I don't see me putting the time and effort into all that and cutting the video and spending a week or two, because I work full time. So I would rather just sit down here in front of the camera in a live format and tell you that this, if you want to do anything besides take just a few short videos here and there and take photos, because its photo capabilities are pretty good, but even then though, for photos, you're not going to get good. This is like a good, like, for taking pictures of a car or the interior for a website, or like real crisp photos where the resolution matters more. But if you were wanting to do like artistic stuff where you do like a bokeh effect and stuff like that, this is not the camera for that at all. It doesn't have any, it does have a manual mode, but it doesn't have any sliders or anything on the lens ring here. There's no way to dial in the focal length in that manner. So like you can kind of pull it off a little bit if you get like for telephoto or for like macro shots. If you're going to take pictures of stuff that's real small and real close, you can get the background blurred. But that's really the only way to do a bokeh effect on this camera. And that's one of the things that I was kind of looking forward to. I originally bought this camera because once I moved on and upgraded, I wanted to use this as a top-down, so I can get you guys better shots of working in computers and the insides and stuff. That way I can have a camera operator or somebody zoom in real far, and this would work really, really great for that. It would. This should be the solution to my problem. That is the one thing that has me pissed off the most, is that this should be the solution. But it has an HDMI port on it. For what reason? Who plugs their camera into a television anymore to view the files? Nobody does that anymore. That's like so 2003. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a thing. I feel like it's not a thing. Please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like everybody is pulling the SD card out, putting in an SD card reader, because it's way faster and more convenient, and I'll just view the files on my computer. I don't, people did that with like camcorders, back in the late 90s and stuff. Like, you recorded something on it and then you went and plugged it to the TV, and everybody like gawked in amazement at this technology that until then was only available to like television studios and stuff like that. But this is 2022. We don't live in that world anymore. So for something like this to exist is just blowing my mind, man. And the fact that it costs almost $400 is even worse. You know what I mean? Like, I got a spring for not only $100 more, you know what I mean? But the problem is all the technology already exists in this camera. You know, it doesn't have an external mic input or anything like that, but I didn't need it. That's what I have this for. I didn't need the external mic. I have a audio recorder. I have a separate audio setup. You know, so it'd probably just be a firmware update or something like that, and it would work. You know, Panasonic could definitely fix this. They could say, oh, well, and maybe people do want the live output on that camera, and actually change the firmware to allow that to happen. Because the camera knows. It knows that I have the HDMI cord plugged into it, because the screen doesn't do anything. And then as soon as I hit this little green play button right here, I lose this screen entirely, and then I finally pick up a signal over here on the HDMI capture card. So it knows there is an HDMI cable plugged in there. It could definitely pass that video feed over all. It could, but it doesn't. It doesn't, which it just really sucks, because it did take some really good pictures of Penny in the backyard yesterday, like for stills in good light. And if you're not looking for that like bokeh effect and stuff like that, this was a pretty good fit, and especially for its zoom capabilities. Just for some context here, try to show you a little bit. I mean, you see how far out that is now. It's got a 20 to 1200 millimeter lens on there. So, I mean, it's huge in terms of zoom, you know what I mean? I should be able to get, especially with this being mounted up on the ceiling or the rafter or whatever, I should be able to get some really clean, crisp, you know, video top down of computers and stuff while I'm working on them. Heck, even I was going to use it as a main shot. I should be able to get a really good face shot on this, but not for you guys, not for YouTube, not. I mean, if I want to go through all that, press and record on 4 different cameras, and then going and getting all the footage on 4 different cameras, like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not beyond doing that, but I just don't see the point in doing it for something that just doesn't fit my needs, doesn't slot in well. I don't know, very much into tech, and this is a problem in tech, and I might address it as maybe things go on. But right now, when I can't afford to just have a camera sitting around, you know what I mean? I already filed a return on this camera, so I mean, it's already got to get boxed up and shipped back, and I want that to happen as fast as humanly possible, so they can refund my money to my Amazon card. So maybe I'll bite the bullet and get the G7, but just at this point, man, I think with everything I have here, I'm gonna focus on the content a little more for now, and because it took me forever to settle on a camera that I thought might be a good all-around something, and now that introduces a whole other issue, you know. And a lot of people are probably going to tell me just to go get the Sony A7 II or whatever. It's a good camera, but it's a $750 camera. You know what I mean? Like, I was trying to come in, you know, under 500. Obviously, with this, it was on sale for $347. Still not worth it. So I don't know. It might be a while before I get an actual camera that's, because like even you can see in this picture now, we have a bunch of noise. There's a bunch of noise on this, because the GoPro, as cool as it is, needs like basically the power of the sun to be any good, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Look at anybody's GoPro footage. They are not GoProing on their mountain bike in the dark. They're not doing it. Not without some serious lighting gear. It just ain't happening. The sensor on it's too small. It doesn't take in low light very well. Obviously, that's why there's all this noise in just about anything dark. I'm surprised there's not more noise on my black shirt, honestly. But in the chair behind me, the curtain, it's all super noisy. So, I mean, that might improve. But for right now, I do have several products in the house right now. So I have this nice EVGA capture card, which the only other USB-C capture card that I could find that would let you actually record 4K was a $210 unit. So this was actually on sale finally for $100. So with this being like essentially half the price of any other, I mean, there's a bunch of knockoff ones and stuff like that, but I really don't want to get into any knockoff crap unless it actually works. Like if somebody knows of something that's like lesser known or is one of them gimmicky Amazon-y kind of things, but if it works and you want more people to know that it works, I might actually take an honest look at it. Because especially in the tech industry, everything that we do in technology, we really need all the information that we can get, especially, well, look at the marketing material that I showed you for this camera. I mean, just like super misleading, says it has and does all this cool stuff, and like it does, but it doesn't do it in the way that you would think that it would, or the way that you want it, the way you would want it to. So like you're thinking in your head, okay, HDMI output, that's great. I can hook that into my capture card. You know, I even bought an HDMI switch for it. It's over there. It's a 4-in-1, so that way I can put, you know, 4 HDMI devices into the one capture card, which is now going to be this, hopefully. So I'm really excited to test this. I only have one 4K display in the whole house, though, and it's the living room television. So, but I should be able to at least grab a 4K recording from the GoPro, even if I can't necessarily view it in all of its 4K glory yet. But that is honestly just because I'm poor, you guys. I make like $36,000 a year. I am like right on the poverty level. You know, like after tax, I come in under that. After child support, I for sure come in under that. So it's like things are they're getting there, man. It's YouTube, so I realize a lot of people are gonna probably not understand how that's super vague an answer. I am working on a personal video kind of explaining all of that, at least to the greater world. I don't know who's going to end up watching most of this stuff. You know, I would love to have a way better production value than what I currently have, but I don't. So I'm really going to be leaning heavy into the content, but I really don't want to just be shoving a bunch of products down everybody's throat either. So I know there's a bunch of people out there trying to work on projects just like what I'm doing. They want to be able to live stream stuff they're doing. They want to be able to, you know, have this technology integrated into what they do in their day-to-day. And that's what I'm interested in showing people, you know what I mean? Because I use this technology and this kind of stuff for my convenience. You know what I mean? Like if it's not doing something for me, that's usually like my first thought. And it's my wife's first thought too. Is like if this isn't doing us any good, then you know, I mean, like do we really need this? So, and a lot of these items might fall, especially with that camera not working out. I have a half a mind to just even, I mean, because like I want to grab a 4K signal from the GoPro and maybe have a better quality even in this image here that you're looking at right now, but in the same respect is $100. You know what I mean? Like I could use that to, you know, eat for this week while I'm driving around the mapping vehicle and stuff like that. So like all these purchases were carefully planned, and then because of that camera, it's pretty much it derailed my whole weekend. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. It's a little too hot to be filming out into the garage yet. So I'm gonna try to get what I can in here, but the lighting is terrible in here, so there's really nothing I can do. Maybe gonna try to get some B-roll out there and then do some other stuff in here. I have a way better audio setup now, so maybe that will help. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. But I know one thing is for sure, that I do have 18 subscribers now, and I really, really would like to get that number up higher. So if anybody has any suggestions for anything, please leave it in the comments. I'm always looking for something to kind of spark. It's usually like one thing, and then it'll send me on a tangent all day long. It sucks having ADHD sometimes, because you'll get onto this thing where you're like, okay, I really want to plug this in and record and test this, and then I might see a video or something with somebody playing a song that I remembered from forever ago, and that'll make me want to pick up my guitar, and then before I know it, I've spent all day trying to get back my skill, because like, you always remember how to play the guitar, but if you go months without playing it, you know, you're always a little rusty, so you got to warm up a little bit. So you're gonna go like through that, and like by the time I get bored with it, several hours have passed, and all the time I should have been spending on this project is now I've lost all that time. So anyways, YouTube finally is letting me live stream. I have 18 of you on my YouTube channel now, so if you checked out this video, I do appreciate that. I'm really gonna try to get in there and get into the brass of these things. I really want to just cuss my head off over the camera thing. It is just really throwing me for a thing this weekend, but I did get a few things in that were really cool and helpful. So there was a little mini PC that I did a live stream on my Facebook about, because it's under $200. It's a Celeron, but it's a 5095. It still has the full fat Iris graphics on it. Anyways, I did get a chance to get it on and up and running, but I didn't have a chance to really get much capture from the screen. I did go through and at least get set up and all that stuff, but I have Parsec running on it now. So I do want to bring it back in here, get it plugged into the capture card. I'm going to get Parsec up and running on there, and then GeForce Now probably as well, but I'm not a paid customer with them anymore because I have a gaming PC in my house. So I'm gonna try to see if I can queue up some free stuff on GeForce Now, get some footage of that. But basically, you know, the computer, it's under $200, and if you can play cloud gaming on it, it has Wi-Fi on it already and Ethernet, so like built-in Bluetooth, so you can connect your Xbox controller right away. There's no extra steps, there's nothing extra that you have to buy. You just get this little computer on Amazon, hook it into your TV, and away you go. So if you already have a gaming PC in your house, it's a really compelling option. If you run a Plex server or anything like that, it's also a really compelling option. And if you're just generally interested in PC gaming and want to use cloud gaming services, it's also a really compelling option. You know, as opposed to going out and buying $1,000 gaming PC just to see if maybe you'd be interested in it. So I think spending $180 is far less of a hit to take financially. So stay tuned for that, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna rewatch this stream and check for audio quality and stuff like that. So this is mainly a test. I'm sorry if the thumbnail made you think I was gonna yell. I mean, I want to. I really, really, really want to. It is so bad. But I don't think Panasonic would be listening. But if they are, Panasonic, man, just it sucks when you're the most affordable 4K camera and even you are price gating necessary functions on your camera. You know what I mean? So many people, you probably have so many of that FC80 in warehouse that you're not selling that would fly off the shelves if people knew they could get a clean HDMI output out of it. That's a guarantee. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys. Stay tuned for some videos in the coming weeks.